So in the same jam session, the same day as Out of Reaches, we wrote the song Notre Dame / King of Fools, which stemmed from a lot of riffs that I had in the key of A that I just never used. And then once I made this little acoustic neoclassical intro, we put that in the beginning and everything else just kind of fell into place and it worked out really well. So then after our intro, like a bat out of hell, it just kicks into this. And a lot of the song actually uses a lot of my melodic death metal influences, as I mentioned before, which gives this one a real bleak and brooding kind of feel through it. That's very gothic and at times very jovial. So it's a fun one. It turned out really, really awesome for what Carlos and I accomplished in a day.
This was the only other one written in the garage. Adam had a great set of riffs in A. Didn't know what to do with them exactly, so we sat there, grinded it out, and just structured it together. On breaks, on the news everywhere, it was the day that the cathedral was burning, so we titled it Notre Dame and stuck with it.
So in other songs, usually when I have this many riffs, I give them to Carlos and he does the arrangements. For this one, how it was done organically, we did it in the garage, and how it turned out in the garage ended up on the album exactly as. And for the lyrical content for this one, I'm a huge fan of the book, Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo, and the film with Charles Laughton. So one night, I had Keeble watch it, and we just started spinning ideas about the themes between how he was treated in that film to get the vibe of what you're going to hear in the lyrical ideas for Notre Dame and the line made of stone.
So I get handed this jam called Notre Dame, and what it is something long, melodic, kind of gothic sounding, and very brooding and a little blackened. Adam also really wanted his arrangement to shine through here as he made it, so I was working very much off of his ideas here. What we decided to keep the Notre Dame theme because we thought that was recent and powerful, and where we went to with it was the story, The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Quasimodo and such. So that's why we have the two-part title, Notre Dame, King of Fools. And the King of Fools part is kind of where there's sort of three speakers, and the first speaker is the crowd mocking the Quasimodo figure, basically telling him the world will never accept you, you're not like us, you freak, go back to the tower you came from. And sort of like this evil jester mocking him, and there's some King Diamond-esque evil psychotic laughter in there too. The second part is where Quasimodo flees from the mocking crowd. He goes seeks sanctuary in the cathedral, and he's talking to a gargoyle, and he envies the gargoyle because it can't feel pain like he can, and he says to it, "Why am I not made of stone?" And I managed to get that line in the song, which I was very happy about. Then we go to this third part where we're outside of the Hunchback story, and now we're looking at the cathedral and all the stories it's seen. This is just one of them. And we're kind of musing and thinking about its loss and what that means. And so I kind of tied these different themes together, and they're not directly connected so much in the song. From where we go from the story to the cathedral burning, there's a musical separation there. And but I think they really tie together, and it just felt emotionally right for me to put there. So I put it there, and it's a very multifaceted song that goes to themes of personal isolation and loss, as well as musings on history and legacy. So this last song, Glorious End, was really my personal pet project on the record. It comes from the same trip where I wrote Firepower Kills. I was in the town of Ypres, and something kind of crazy happened that day where I was there and I found the grave of a man who has my last name that I didn't know about before, who died precisely 100 years before I was there standing there. So that got me feeling really somber and reflective, and something I can't quite even describe. And what I started thinking about was all the sort of what they'd say is pointless sacrifice in World War I, or just any time, but all the futile, failed assaults where men just charge bravely into the teeth of machine guns and get cut to ribbons, and for what? And that just makes me so deeply sad to think about, and I really wanted to put that into a song. So the way I decided to get this idea across was as a conversation between a father and son. And it's not about the battle itself, but it's about what the soldier does to prepare himself mentally for the battle, what goes through his head. And the way I've written this is it's the son saying to the father, I will be brave, I'll do my duty. When the time comes, I will not turn tail and run. And the father's there talking back to his son, reinforcing these same heroic and brave virtues. The chorus line I had, which is identical to what I came up with years before the song ever existed, is, for I am no coward, I will laugh at death again, now onward, my brothers, to our glorious end. And I thought that that was pretty powerful, and I wanted to write kind of in a pre-modern sort of way, like in romantic sounding 19th century poetic lingo. I thought that has a certain power from it, like it comes from the past, from the era of knights and dragons, and not from the era of, you know, machine guns and jets and such. So I thought that that was a really powerful angle to go with it, and I thought that this way of writing had a really strong emotional component. The concept behind the end verse, which existed verbatim how it is 3 years ago, is that for the first part of the song, it's the soldier and the father preparing him mentally for battle. At the end of the song, the soldier finally goes into battle, the moment he's been waiting for, but as soon as it happens, he is killed arbitrarily, pointlessly, and cruelly. And then as he dies, he goes, what was the meaning of my sacrifice? All those virtues I believed in, was that all a lie? Did my father lie to me? What was that for? And he leaves the question unanswered, and on a note of deep questioning and pain. And I think it's a hell of a way to end the album, and it really gets that feeling I had in my heart out onto record in a way I can't quite explain beyond saying listen to the song. I'm really proud of how this came out, and I think that this is something that's very distinct towards my style of writing and our band. You aren't going to hear this from other bands that talk about war today. I think they tend to do a lot more flag waving and stuff, and I don't think that's the real truth of it. I want a song that looked on a psychological and an emotional level at the really human psychological side, because every person who's a number on these giant World War casualty lists was a real person that went from womb to tomb just like you and I.
Yeah, so KiFF came at me with that. Hell of a concept. An idea he's really passionate about. And it's my job to convey that through music, you know, a really powerful heavy metal song. So yeah, it was cool. He showed me different mediums in order to express that idea, and he showed me a movie called Gallipoli, a couple of different scenes from that dealt with a father and son and had this tragic ending. So I went into Adam's vault of riffs, and Adam just has a knack for writing these really melodic and rich riffs. So I took a few of them that I felt went well together, and the verse ended up being sung from the perspective of the son and the bridge from the perspective of the father. So I was able to tie that in as well, and it works really well. So I took Adam's riffs and made them the verse and the bridge, and then I came up with a chorus and post-chorus.
That we're thinking and everything we put into this record. We want to give you guys something that you can listen to 100, 200, 300 times and still not be sick of it, still find new things to enjoy and new connections to make. I hope you'll check out this video again when you have the record in your hands so you can kind of see everything we're talking about firsthand and really dig into it. Thank you all for watching. This has been the Science of Thrash. Keep your eyes peeled for Weapons of Tomorrow, the new 21st century state-of-the-art in thrash metal.